Good afternoon and welcome to the Chamber September 1st Friday Luncheon. I'm Taylor Haney and I'm the 2025 incoming President of the Board. Will Alves could not be with us today, but we're thrilled to have you all here. At this time, I would like to ask Pastor Todd Ford to come up and say the invocation. He's with Harmony Hill Baptist Church.
Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for this day. We thank you for just an incredible community that we live in. We pray, Father, for your blessing on this community and these business leaders as they are the backbone of our community and leadership and giving back. And Lord, we just pray your blessing on those in this room and those in our community. We pray for families, that they would be healthy and well and thrive in this wonderful place we call home. Father, I thank you for the food that we've enjoyed today and the fellowship, and I do pray for the time that we'll have together. And Lord, as your word commands, we pray for those in leadership. And Lord, we thank you for those that you put in leadership over us, and I pray for Representative Ashby as he comes and shares with us a little bit later. It's in Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thanks, Todd. We're excited to welcome some new investors to the Chamber for this past month. Please help me welcome Elixir Med Spa, Wilson Legacy Group, I think they're here today, GoMed Mobile, Destination Downsize, BWK Elite Team, Paradigm Home Care, L&S Pump Repair and Machine Shop, Shimmer Nail Barn, BCFS Health and Human Services, Country Cabins Pet Resort, and Century 21 Coda Realty Thai Fam. Let's give them a welcome. If you see them around town, please help us welcome them to the Chamber. We know it takes sponsors like this to make events happen, and I would like to thank our sponsors. First Friday presenting sponsor, Lufkin Coca-Cola. The Silver Spike presenting sponsor, Southside Bank. The Silver Spike silver sponsor, the Advanced Financial Group. Our media sponsor, Lufkin Daily News. And our on-time monthly drawing sponsor, Serve Pro of Lufkin and South Nacogdoches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor. If you gotta show that jacket again, just in case people didn't see it. That is definitely worth a double hand clap. And I expect that to be worn at the chamber banquet when you take over. We're thrilled to have all of you here with us today. It's a great day in Lufkin, Texas. Representative Trent Ashby was sworn into the Texas House of Representatives in January 2013. His district is comprised of Angelina, Houston, Polk, San Augustine, Trinity, and Tyler counties. He currently serves as the chair of the House Committee on Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, and is a member of the House Transportation Committee. In prior sessions, Trent has served as the member of the House Committees on Appropriations, Administration, Calendars, Defense and Veterans Affairs, Natural Resources, and Public Education, just to name a few. He was recognized by his colleagues in the Republican caucus as the Freshman of the Year at the completion of his first session, and was selected after his second session as the most valuable sophomore in the Texas House by Capitol Inside, and we all know that because we know you. Born and raised on a dairy farm and diversified livestock operation in Rusk County, Trent is proud of his rural background and upbringing. He's a graduate of Texas A&M with a bachelor's degree in agricultural economics. Today, he is the Senior Vice President for Bear Bank, and he and his wife, Nikki, live in Lufkin and have two great sons, Garrett and Grant. Please help me welcome Representative Ashby.
Thank you, Tara. Wow, what a great crowd today. I'm honored that all of you would be here today. I know you're here for the Silver Spike Award, which I'm eagerly excited and anticipating that presentation here in a few minutes. But I'm also excited to see so many people interested and maybe even excited about the Texas legislature, right? How many of you love the Texas legislature? Amen. Well, I do too. And I'm honored that you would spend a little bit of time with us today. All right, let me find my clicker here. So I will say I'm a little intimidated today, and then I have my pastor, Todd Core from Harmony Hill Baptist Church here, who is a dynamic speaker. I don't think I've ever presented in front of you, Pastor Todd, so let me know how big grade when I'm finished, okay? But thank you for the prayer today. I appreciate you being here. All right, so what I wanted to do today, as opposed to maybe some years past where I usually give you a legislative recap or a preview, is I'm going to combine a little bit of both because there's a few things that I want to touch on that really are going to set the stage for the 89th legislative session, which will convene in January, actually January the 14th if you're taking notes, of 2025, so next year. And there's a lot of things that we're going to be working on. Just a little bit of trivia because there's some updated information I want to share with you that honestly I hope that you take a lot of pride in. First and foremost, Texas now, as of I think it was May, we now have the eighth largest economy in the entire world. Our state economy, yeah, absolutely, we should be proud of it. Did you know our state economy is larger than the entire economy of the country of Russia, the country of Canada, the country of Italy? The state of Texas, our economy is the eighth largest economy in the world. Our legislature, as you probably all well know, we don't meet every year, which we are one of less than 5 states that don't have an annual state legislature that meets. And so when we convene for that 140 days, every odd number year, we've got to get a lot of work done for the 31 plus million people that are blessed to call themselves Texans. So I'm going to talk a little about that today. But the first thing I wanted to First thing we're going to talk about is technology. This is why I normally don't do slides in the presentation. Okay, so there's some people out there think, oh, well, y'all are part-time citizen legislators, you only meet 5 months approximately every 2 years. Well, the truth is, we do a lot of work in what we call this period right now, which is our interim period. And typically, in a session year, we meet for those 140 days, and then unless the governor calls us back, and only the governor can call us back for a special session, then we come home, we live under the laws that we create, and we go to Austin from time to time to work on some interim assignments. Well, as you may recall, last year was a little unusual. Not only did we have the regular session, we had a special session, another special session, another special session, and another special session. So when I got home in early December from the assignment that I thought would be over around June 1st, we had a lot to talk about. And so while we are at home, one of the things that we work on are the quote-unquote charges that the Speaker of the House gives us. The Lieutenant Governor, who is the presiding officer of the Texas Senate, he also issues interim charges to the 31 members of the Texas Senate. So in May of this year, the Speaker issued 68 interim charges that all of the approximately 31 committees in the Texas House that we're assigned to study between now and the end of the year. And not just study. When I say study, we have a hearing. Public testimony is a critical part of that. But behind that, then the members and the staff get together and we actually work on the work product, the finished product, which is a charge or basically a document that is made available to the public that essentially are the recommendations for the next legislature in terms of policy decisions that we should be making. And so that is what we're doing right now. The committee that I chair, Culture, Rec, and Tourism, we met in July to go over our different interim charges, and we'll be coming out probably in November with our committee recommendations for those charges. So that's essentially what's happened. I know Senator Nichols has been busy in Austin this week because I saw he was up on the dais yesterday at Senate Finance. looking at some interim charges. But that will continue really through probably early October, and then, like I said, each committee will be working diligently on getting those assignments out to the public. Okay, I say this every time, this is a little reminder. So the only bill the Texas legislature must pass every 2 years is a state budget, according to our Constitution. So, as you can imagine, again, thinking about the size of our economy in the state of Texas, this is a major issue. This overshadows everything else that goes on in the legislature, is the work that's being done both in public and behind the scenes to craft our state budget. So, now, I know this is a busy slide, okay? It probably looks a little bit like maybe the Aggie offensive playbook right now. But I'm going to pick up where we are today. And I think it says that here in one of the bullet points. But right now, this month in September, by the way, our fiscal year for the state of Texas starts September 1st. So we just started a brand new fiscal year in the state of Texas. But also right now, if you look at this bullet point, I think there's a laser on this thing. Our state agencies are required to present basically to the legislature their request or ask for the upcoming biennium or the next 2 years. So those are being turned in right now through what we call legislative appropriation requests. Once all of those are turned in, then our legislative budget board will meet later this fall. They will look at the different requests, go through those. And by the way, the legislative budget board is just a fancy term for 5 House members and 5 senators that work on the budget. What they will work up is essentially the draft budget, or the base budget as we call it, that will be presented in January to the legislature. Okay, so when we get there, we will have a base budget to start with. Now let me tell you, having been on appropriations, which is the budget writing committee for several sessions, and I get asked this question from time to time. What we do is, yes, we have a document we can start with, but in reality, what we do is every one of those state agencies, we start from zero. When we make them come in, they have to testify before House Appropriations and Senate Finance, and they have to justify what their requests are. Ultimately, and this is where the legislative process kicks in, is those 2 committees in the House and Senate, they will go through all of the testimony from the agency. You'll hear a lot of comments from members on the committee about their opinions, and then we take public testimony. Once all of that is finished, then of course they will go through the process. The committee will go through the process of passing the budget out of committee. It may or may not look a lot like what was initially presented to them, and then it will come to the House and the Senate. And it's one of only 2 types of bills that once it passes the House Senate, it doesn't go straight to the governor's desk. The other bill, by the way, are our constitutional amendments that we vote on in November. Those don't require a governor's signature. Once the House and Senate pass those, they go straight to the people of Texas. The budget doesn't go straight to the governor. That budget has to make a detour over to our controller's office, and that's Texas Comptroller's Luncheon. He will make sure that what we just passed actually is a balanced budget, that we're not spending more than he has projected in the revenue that we will have for the next 2 years. And so I'm very proud of the fact, and I hope you are too, that Texas, unlike maybe our federal government, we have a balanced budget in there. We have to balance our budget, just like you and your business, you and your families have to, the county, we have to balance our budget, just like everybody else. And so he'll certify that or tell us we're off. Then we'll go to the governor for his signature. Okay. Yeah, this is another busy slide. You can look at that over there if you want. Essentially, that's what Comptroller Hager sent us in July. And this is basically just a thumbnail sketch of the process when we pass a budget. Like I said, it goes to the controller. He keeps up with day to day how the state is doing in terms of our revenue projections. Have they changed since the last time that he gave us a number? And our expenses? Are we behind? Are we ahead? And so we get every month what I call a fiscal size up from the controller's office on how we're doing. Now, I know there's a lot of you probably that aren't budgeteers and don't get in the weeds on this. For whatever reason, I kind of like this wonky stuff on the state budget. But the bottom line is, the comptroller, he keeps up with our bills and our revenue. But importantly, and then I'm going to move on from this slide, when we meet in January, or actually it's right before we meet in January, maybe the most important announcement that we get as a state, and certainly your lawmakers, is that we get the biennial revenue estimate from the controller's office. And that's usually the first week of January. And that tells us how much money we are projected to have over the next 2 years, which means that tells us how much money we have to work with in developing our budget as we head into session. So, again, huge budget, critically important, only bill that we constitutionally have to pass every 2 years. Okay, we're talking to the Chamber of Commerce. What's more important than workforce and economic development? And one of the things, as you all know, is that in a state that's growing as fast as we are, when I first got elected, I remember at that time it was Governor Perry talking and bragging really about that, hey, we're growing 1,000 people approximately in Texas a day. Well, now that number is closer to 1,200 people a day are moving to the state of Texas. And I'm talking legal residents, okay? 1,200 people approximately are moving to the state of Texas a day. So clearly, workforce is a major issue for the state of Texas. I don't have to walk outside this room because I see several of you who have talked to me about some of your workforce needs, okay? Well, the reason I put this slide up here is for us to be a leader and continue to have people that want to move to the state of Texas, to have employers that want to relocate or start a business in the state of Texas. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens because we have thoughtful leaders that put policies in place that reward people that want to risk their capital and create jobs and have a thriving business. And for us to continue to be a prosperous state, we can't fall asleep at the switch. And so, last session, here's just a few bills that we passed that I didn't talk about in our recap last year. The first one, and I'm going to fly through these. The first one basically is through the Texas Workforce Commission, and it provides assistance or grants to primarily community colleges that are working with local workforce, and I saw Mark Duran with Workforce Solutions here. They're working to meet the demands for local jobs or jobs in that specific region, because the jobs that we need in East Texas may not be the same jobs they need out in Midland, Odessa, or the Permian Basin. And so this is an innovative program that initially the feedback is very positive. Any of you that were there last, I think it was late summer when Dr. Mike Simon spoke from Angelina College last year, he spent a lot of time talking about our new law at the time, which was House Bill 8. House Bill 8, I can talk the rest of the time about House Bill 8. I was proud to be a joint author on this bill. It is a seismic shift, an innovative way, and a redesign of the way we fund community colleges in the state of Texas. And as you may know, or hopefully you may know, there's 50 community colleges spread all around the state. The way we've always historically funded our community colleges is basically attendance. So if you have so many students enrolled at Angelina College, this is going to be your revenue. And what we have done with House Bill 8 is we have said, the community colleges, we want to reward you for doing a really good job at helping us with workforce and economic development, which is a primary reason our community college system was created. So now what we're saying to Angelina College and other colleges is, we're going to reward you financially based on the number of people, not that were enrolled, but the number of people that are graduating, that are getting a certificate, a badge, a credential, or that are moving on to a 4-year college for a baccalaureate, or that go into one of the, and there's additional compensation or incentive to meet those high demand jobs in your local region. So it's kind of a multifaceted formula, But all 50 community college presidents, which is pretty rare you get all 50 of them to agree and to support any of them in anything, they all supported this, and the initial response that we're hearing is that it's working great. So I'm really excited about this and where it's going to take us in terms of meeting our workforce needs. The next one basically is a collaboration between the Higher Education Coordinating Board in the state of Texas, the Workforce Commission, and our students. We have a lot of students in high school primarily that really don't know what they want to do, right? It's like, I did. I mean, speak for myself, I didn't know so what I want to do. Well, now they are required to put information online in front of the entire public, but let's say to prospective students that are thinking about going on to post-secondary education. And now they're required to list what are the top 40 jobs in the state of Texas in terms of demand, as well as what are the top 40 jobs in terms of the annual compensation for that as well. And then they break it down by region. And I know the TLO Foundation has talked about this. We're also trying to not just look at it from a state perspective, but more specifically for your region of the state, in our case, the Forest Country region. How are we doing? What are those jobs that are in high demand? What are those average starting salaries? Because folks want to know, if this is going to be a lucrative career many times before they make that decision. So now this information is going to be readily available. The last one here, I don't have to tell anybody in this room, we are blessed to have the Stubblefield Learning Center in this community to serve this region. This really allows for our community colleges to partner with students that are there for workforce education that didn't get a high school diploma to do concurrent enrollment and work on a specific education curriculum to get a high school diploma. I see this being very successful and hopefully an attractive offer for people that maybe don't have a Stubblefield, but in our case, I think Stubblefield is probably going to meet most of the local needs in terms of helping adult students that want to get that high school diploma. Lastly on this slide, House Bill 5, and this is for our school districts that are out there also. I know we've got some school board members and superintendents in the crowd. We've had for years the ability for our cities and our counties and our school districts to offer under the old statute of Chapter 313 different short-term tax abatements or incentives to try to draw jobs or employers to your particular city, county, school district. Over a period of time, it was clear that there was some ways that we could improve that. Maybe some actors out there that were taking advantage of that system. And so last session, we scrapped that entire part of the statute or the code. So we completely did away with that. And we followed it up with House Bill 5, which in essence is the same type of initiative. It allows our school districts to offer short-term property tax abatements for prospective employers. But what we did on the back end of that is we said we're going to require a lot more accountability and transparency to make sure that our school districts aren't getting hoodwinked by someone that comes into a community and says, hey, we're going to deliver so many jobs, and they don't. And so this basically gives them some teeth or some clawback for those folks that aren't fulfilling their obligation under House Bill 5. Anybody here feel like their property taxes are too low? Okay, all right, just making sure. Every once in a while I'll see somebody. So the next two slides, and by the way, I only have 9 slides, okay? The next 2 slides I'm gonna quickly hit on the top 2 issues that I heard about going into our last legislative session. The first one is property tax relief. And again, this has been well publicized. So last session between our regular or our 4 special sessions, we, the legislature, we passed about $18 billion in property tax relief. Now, let me clear up if there's any confusion. As you all probably know, in our Texas Constitution, your state government, we cannot levy a property tax. So when you get your property tax bill, you'll never see the state of Texas on it. Okay, so we don't actually collect property taxes for the state in terms of running our state budget. So your next question is, well, how do we run our state budget? And let me answer that. Over 85% of the money that we collect to fund our state budget to keep us running is sales tax, which is about 65%, and the other 20% is severance taxes or revenue collected from oil and gas production. The other 15% is a variety of miscellaneous fees and taxes, car rental fees, hotels, that kind of stuff. So when we talk about property tax relief, there's really only one way the state of Texas can help provide property tax relief, and that is through your local school districts' maintenance and operation taxes. The way we fund our public schools in Texas, simply put, is about ideally 50% of that tax effort is local, right? Your property taxes, and 50% would be state sales tax, essentially. And so when the state of Texas is trying to help reduce your property taxes, the only thing we can do is buy down or compress your local property taxes through your school district maintenance and operation portion, okay? So the bulk of that money last session that we talked about, that $18 billion, was to buy down your local school district M&O taxes, okay? Of course, there was the homestead exemption. I think it was 2019, don't quote me. We voted in that session to go from on your homestead exemption from $25,000 to $40,000. And then here we were last session, we took it from $40,000 to $100,000. So, for example, if Brett's got a $500,000 house, the first $100,000 on his homestead is going to be completely exempt from property taxes. So this is a huge win for homeowners in the state of Texas. And of course, we put that before the voters last November in terms of Proposition 4, which, as you can imagine, passed overwhelmingly, was very popular. We also, for the first time, we wanted to help our business owners. There has never been a cap on how much your appraisals could go up in 1 year on business or commercial property. So what we have is a 3-year pilot program that says if you are a commercial business owner, if your property in business is valued at $5 million or less, that we have told your local appraisal district now that you cannot increase their appraisal more than 20% over the next 3 years. Now, as I said, that is a 3-year pilot project. Now, again, between you and me, and I know the media's in the room, so it's not between you and me, I can't imagine us doing away with this program. This is going to be wildly popular. It is, but it's very expensive also. So I suspect that this is going to be something that is going to be meritorious and something that hopefully the legislature will continue when they meet in the 2027 session. For those of you that are paying our margins tax, our business margins tax in the state of Texas, we doubled the exemption level to, I think it was right at $2.5 million now. And now, I wanted to mention this one because of the 6 counties in our House district, Angelina County is the only county that's over 75,000 in population. One of our new laws that came about in I believe it was the last special session from Senator Beckford over in the Texas Senate, was this new law or idea that we're going to allow our citizens, the public, to have seats on our local appraisal board of directors, okay? So going forward, each county that's over 75,000 will have 9 members that will serve on the appraisal board. And I know my good friend Ken, we've had some conversations about this. It's not a perfect law. There's some changes that we need to make to it, but just go with me for a second. So, in the case of Angelina County, if you didn't know, we now have three members that are elected that will serve on this board until and unless the legislature changes this law. And I will tell you, since it's happened in a special session, it didn't have the benefit of going through the entire regular session process with a lot of public testimony and didn't have time, let's say, maybe cure like some of the other laws that went in place. This new law, while well-intentioned, I think there are some things that we probably need to work on next session to help those counties really that are the size of Angelina County that barely follow that threshold, because there is a cost to holding elections, any election, But adding this to that without the state coming forward to help pay for that, as well as some of the other issues that they're now required to do, is something that we need to take another look at. The next issue is one that you hear a lot about, border security. It's a #1 issue. When I go talk to a lot of different clubs and groups and nonprofits in our district, I really don't want to fly through this one. I just wanted you to see the latest numbers. So the numbers that you see here, those are through the month of July from this year, okay? So 516,300 illegal immigrant apprehensions. You see the arrests, the felony charges. Look at that next one. We have seized over 500 million lethal doses of fentanyl. That is huge. Now this one is big. Let me give you some context, because this really is the bullet point most people want to see. In December of last year, okay, so that was December 2023, the state of Texas had the largest number of illegal immigrants crossing or trying to cross our border than we've ever had. And that number was right at 250,000 people. Okay? So December last year, 250,000. So the 74% decrease you see is based on that number of 250,000. So we have had, all of us in this room and every taxpayer in the state of Texas, the investments that we've made, and I'm going to tell you exactly what those are, we've had a major impact on curbing the number of illegal immigrants that are crossing or now trying to cross the state of Texas border. So here's a couple things. We increased the mandatory 10-year minimum prison sentence for those that are we get convicted of human smuggling. People ask my country, how much money are we spending on border security? The answer is when you add it all in, across the 15 different agencies that are part of Operation Lone Star, we spent in the regular budget, we spent $5.1 billion in House Bill 1. Okay, that was during the regular session. During this fourth special session, we added an additional $1.5 billion. So you add that up, and we've got a lot of smart people. Folks, we're spending over $6.5 billion of our Texas taxpayer dollars on border security. Is it having an impact? You bet it is. Now, I'm going to tell you, and without getting up on my high horse, or and I don't need a school, but I may preach on this, and if I get off, they'll help me. But guys, our United States Constitution clearly delineates this as a federal government responsibility. Our United States Congress and our administration, this is a task that they were given in our United States Constitution. So, but I'm going to tell you, the state of Texas, we're not going to sit idly by and let our citizens be impacted by what's happening down at our southern border. And I can assure you that commitment is unwavering and is not going away. Okay, so this is kind of where I'm starting to wrap up a little bit. All right, so looking ahead to the next session, here's what I think are going to be some major topics that we talk about. The last two slides, top of the list. Further property tax relief and border security. Already, our good friend and controller has said to the legislature, he believes that we're going to have approximately $20 billion in terms of a surplus that we're going to be beginning next session to look at how we invest. Okay, so we're not going to be looking at a deficit. More than nothing happens between now and January. So we're going to have a healthy surplus. And the question you have to ask is, well, what is the legislature going to do? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, my top priority is to continue to provide further tax relief. Now, let me tell you something else. And everybody tells me this. Trent, we love the property tax relief, but appraisals are killing us. We've got to do something on appraisals. And I'm here to tell you that the legislature next session has got to reform our current appraisal process. It impacts how we fund our public schools. It obviously impacts private property owners. It impacts our homeowners. So we have what I would call an outdated or antiquated system when it comes to the appraisal process in the state of Texas. We've got to modernize that. And we're at a point where we as government, local, state, whatever, you never want to be seen as taxing somebody out of their house. We can't control the property tax rate that your local officials levy at the city, county, school district, but we can help in terms of maybe making sure that we're doing a better job in the state as far as making sure that we're reining in some of these skyrocketing appraisal increases that we're seeing across the state. So you have my commitment next session, and there's a lot of others that put a lot of legwork in last session, and we did get it done. Yeah, we're going to continue to work on this next session to help the taxpayers in the state. Board security, I've already touched on that. Water, thank you for those of you that voted for our constitutional amendment last session to create the Texas Water Fund. That was funded with $1 billion of that surplus we had. That is a nice start. But we have a lot more work to do in this area because those people I talked about that are moving to Texas, when they come, they don't bring a drop of water. They don't bring an inch of roadway. They don't bring a textbook. So we've got to fund that growth. And in the areas of water, there's a lot of work to be done. Economic development. What I would say under economic development is I want to see the state of Texas continue to revolutionize how we work with our community colleges and our local workforce leaders. And one of the things that entails is we work with our school districts, that we work with our business employers and find out what the needs are. And then that allows us to make sure that we're making good policy decisions that continue to keep Texas up on top of being the #1 job creation state, which we are in the entire country. Okay, last slide. Election integrity. You all have an expectation that when you go vote, your elections are secure, and you should. We did a lot of work last session. It was a little bit controversial, as you might imagine, where we really got in the weeds and strengthened voter ID requirements to ensure that only legal residents in the state of Texas can vote in our elections. I think this session, you're going to see a intense focus on mail-in ballots, because historically, if there ever is fraud in an election, which I'm unaware of any in this area, but Harris County, there's some examples there. Typically, it is in the mail-in ballot area. So I think that we will continue to look at how we can make sure the integrity of our elections are fair and secure. Education. Those of you who know me know that I'm passionate about education, public and higher. I was blessed to serve for 6 years on the Lufkin School Board. As I say, I haven't said it in a while, I'll say it again today. If we don't get this issue right of education, nothing else matters. We have not given our public schools an increase in funding, since 2019. So that's going on well over 5 years. There'll be 6 when we get in session next year. You all know what the cost of living has done for you and your business and your families. I promise you the cost of education is not going down. Our teachers, who we don't thank enough for what they do, we are facing a teacher shortage. It's a crisis, in my opinion, in the state of Texas. They are long overdue for a meaningful pay raise. And so we have got to invest part of that $20 billion surplus that I talked about. It could be more. Part of that has got to be looked at in this area right here of how we make sure that we are educating the future workforce and the future leaders of the state of Texas. And that's right here in the classrooms and our school districts all across this county and across House District 9. And we've got to make sure that we're rewarding those heroes that serve us in the classroom. And so that's going to continue to be a passion of mine and something that I'll be laser focused on next session. Last issue is something new. I've never talked about it in front of a chamber group before. This issue really presented itself last session. And that is the issue of foreign-owned land in the state of Texas. There are some examples of hostile countries, Think China, North Korea, maybe others, that through fancy legal work have created entities that allow them to purchase, typically it's agricultural land in the state of Texas. And there are some well-documented examples in the media about some that have purchased some close to our military installations in the state of Texas. Folks, we're proud Americans. We're proud Texans. National security, to the extent that we can help make sure our nation is secure, is something we should all be fervent about in our support. This issue is going to get a lot of attention. We have a select committee that met this week in Austin for the second time to continue to take testimony about how we address this issue. It's not just a simple fix. When you start looking at ownership, and so we've got our banks, we've got our title companies, we've got our realtors, we've got the business community, we've got private landowner groups such as Farm Bureau, and we've got everybody that we want to hear from on this issue to make sure that when we do something, that we get it right. But we have to do our part as a state to protect our national security interests, not just with respect to protecting our military installations, but also our nation's food supply, most of which is generated in the state of Texas. So this is a major issue moving forward. I just wanted to put it on your radar. And the last thing I want to say is there's going to be a lot of other issues that come up. I was just talking to someone about insurance reform a second ago. The sheriff, Tom Selman, is doing a fantastic job, Sheriff. He just handed me a document in terms of how the state of Texas can be more innovative and help in the area of mental health and try to keep people that are in a mental health or experiencing a mental health crisis out of our jails. That makes good sense to me. I don't know about you, but it costs us money when they are in our county jail. Those people don't need to be in a jail. They need to receive treatment and psychiatric assistance. And there's a lot of people in this community that are working on this issue right now. And I can tell you that Senator Nichols and I have had some meetings with local folks about this. This is going to be something that not only do we want to see the state move on, but just like 15 years ago when we created our mental health, E stands for Mental Health Center over there off Frank Street, that was leading the state. We were the first community to have an impact center. We want to, Senator Nichols and I and the other rest members in this community, we want this community to lead the state again. It's time to modernize how we deal with mental illness in this community and across the state of Texas. And so that's going to be a major focus. But the main thing I want you guys to know is it is an honor of a lifetime, and it's a distinct privilege to represent you in the Texas House. I never forget who I'm working for. I work for you. I'm blessed to have this opportunity to serve you, and if I can ever be of assistance to you, your family, your business, I hope that you will always feel free to reach out to me and let me know what we can do to help you. So, Tara, thank you for having me today. God bless you all.
Thank you, Trent. This is also a special month where we honor one of our own with a Silver Spike Award. We would like to thank Southside Bank for continuing to partner with the Chamber as the presenting sponsor and the Advanced Financial Group for being the silver sponsor. At this time, I'd like to welcome up Emily Corbett, Market President for Wealth Management for Southeast Texas at Southside Bank, to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. One second. There we go. As Sarah mentioned, I am Emily Corbett, and I am the Southeast Texas Market President of Wealth Management and Trust at Southside Bank. Since 1960, Southside Bank has remained committed to helping the individuals, businesses, and nonprofits of our Texas communities thrive and prosper. We currently operate 54 branches across Texas, along with 2 wealth management departments, one here in Lufkin and one located in Tyler. Southside takes pride in giving back to the communities which we reside and considers it a privilege to be this year's presenting sponsor for the Jack O. Butch McMullen Silver Spike Award. We at Southside believe the Silver Spike Award recipients embody all of the core values of Southside Bank, including integrity, teamwork, innovation, excellence, and accountability. We would love to earn your business at Southside, and please stop by and see us sometime. Thank you.
Since 1991, Leadership Lufkin has annually selected an outstanding graduate of the program to be honored with the Silver Spike Award, named in memory of Butch McMullen of the Angelina and Neches River Railroad. The award is presented to a graduate of at least 10 years who has excelled in their role as a leader in areas across their life. The winner of this award exhibits the following characteristics that were completely exemplified by Butch McMullen. A leader and role model in their profession, church, and/or community. They're a strong positive influence and source of encouragement for others and are actively involved in the community. They're an avid planner with a heart and vision for the future of Angelina County. I know that we have numerous Silver Spike recipients in the audience. If you have received this award, would you please stand so that we could recognize you today? For the past few years, we have partnered with Overseas Hardwoods to make these beautiful awards. And this year's wood, hang on, I'm gonna hold it up this way so you can't see the name on it. The base is made entirely of wingi. It's a rare exotic hardwood that is derived from Central Africa. And this is the color, it wasn't stained, this is the color of it. So thank you, Rocky, and your team for doing that. Since the creation of this award, there probably has never been a recipient who exhibits more influence and involvement in our community than this gentleman. A graduate of the founding Leadership Lufkin class of 1982-83, he has continuously devoted his energy and vision to a better economy, a better community through economic development, job creation, and quality of life. In the 80s, he was instrumental in bringing Habitat for Humanity to Lufkin. Despite a noted preference to work behind the scenes, his sense of duty to the community led him to run for public office in 2005 as a Lufkin City Council member, where he served until 2014, where he left a lasting positive impact on the community. He has served on a lengthy list of church, community, and regional boards, including the City of Lufkin Planning and Zoning and Economic Development Partnership, the Angelina County Appraisal District, the Lufkin Landscape Task Force. He's a past president of Angelina Beautiful Clean, a past president of the Home Builders Association of Lufkin, a past president of the Lumbermen's Association of Texas, and was awarded the Golden Amble not only once, but twice, in 2016 and also 2020, for his work in the community. Currently, he serves as the chair of St. Cyprian's School Board and is on the national board of the Longleaf Alliance. Lufkin has been blessed with many, many leaders, but few have been more visionary about the possibilities of this community and the people who are blessed to call it home. One of his greatest contributions is his ability to bring people together from diverse backgrounds and assist in developing projects or programs that would not otherwise be achieved independently. We cannot finish this out without mentioning the best campaign slogan when he ran for city council: "Don't be a doofus, vote for Rufus." Please help me congratulate the 2024 Silver Spike Award winner, Rufus Duncan. Congratulations. And we'll come over here and we'll get a picture. Sure. Where do you want it, Joel? Back over this way? Okay. Nice few words.
Well, I really appreciate that. Most people who know me know that I don't have a lot of words. But I will say this, I've been able to do some stuff in this community, but really, truly, it's just as part of a team. And I think that's what makes this community so great, is we just get together and do stuff. We're a great team. And so I'm proud to be part of the team that's Angelina County, and thanks a lot for this award.
As we finish out our luncheon, we're honored to bring up Michelle Briley to say a few words regarding the United Way kickoff.
Hey guys, Michelle Briley, and I am honored to serve this year as the United Way campaign chair. And what a better way to kick off this campaign than to show you a video of how your dollars go to work for the organizations in our community. So you are the first to see the premiere of our 2024 campaign video. Take a look with me. Every nonprofit agency survives on the generosity of our community. Each gives away services and products every day to those in our community who are struggling or cannot help themselves. Homebound Angelina County seniors rely on the Angelina County Senior Center for homemade meals and drivers to deliver those hot meals. This is often the only person these seniors see and talk with each day.
Your donation helps provide hot meals and personal contact.
Homework help, tutoring, computer classes, physical activities, and healthy snacks. The Boys and Girls Club of Lufkin and Diboll keep our youth engaged, learning and active during the summer months and after school.
Your donation provides meals, activities, and homework assistance.
Struggling parents receive healthy, nutritious food for their young family. A friend living on the streets can sit down for a hot meal daily, all prepared by the Salvation Army.
Your donation provides nutritious food, utility assistance, and Christmas gifts.
A child removed from their home, sometimes in the middle of the night, usually takes nothing with them. The Child Welfare Board is there.
Your donation helps provide clothing, diapers, toys, and more.
Our friends living with disabilities have an environment at Gateway Community Partners that encourages their abilities and their independence, teaches vocational skills, and offers a job and a paycheck.
Your donation provides jobs, teaches life skills, and promotes social interaction.
Families struggling with helping their child or spouse who is addicted to drugs or alcohol find counseling, care, and assistance at the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council.
Your donation provides drug and alcohol education, counseling, and assistance.
When needing to use a computer and the internet for job searches or homework, and there is no access at home, the McMullen Library in Huntington provides both at no cost.
Your donation helps ensure the internet and a computer are available to our residents.
With a focus on the whole family, the JD Center of Hope provides counseling, financial education, child care, and after-school homework help. The staff also provides bags of food, cleaning supplies, and fun, free activities for all ages.
Your donation ensures families receive the necessities to grow stronger together.
Hospice in the Pines provides families facing the difficult task of making end-of-life decisions for a loved one, receive assistance, emotional and spiritual support, and bereavement services.
Your donation helps provide the full spectrum of care for the entire family during and after the passing of a loved one.
We hope this video explains how your donation is used by each agency and how your donation impacts the lives of so many in our community. I'm Michelle Briley, Chairman of the 2024 United Way campaign. As you can see, your donation to the United Way of Angelina County makes a big impact every day. Your contribution, no matter how small, can help hundreds of our friends and neighbors receive the assistance they need to thrive. Please share with others the impact a donation can make. Your donation counts every day. Special thank you to the City of Lufkin and Zimmerman Communications for putting that video together for us. On your table at your place setting, there is a card that gives you a QR code and information how you can donate. We will be out in the community soliciting and helping you guys have the opportunity to give to these amazing organizations in our community. And I encourage you to think about the people that we are reaching and give from your heart. Thank you so much.
If you listen to our podcast, or if you don't, hop on to our Connect podcast. We actually just did one on the United Way. So if you're looking to find out more details about all the different organizations that benefit from it, you can hear that coming up on the Connect podcast. We do have just a few announcements to remind you about before you leave today. We are 13 days away from the 40th Annual Texas State Forest Festival presented by Berkshire Brothers. We are so excited. It's going to be a fun-filled 4 days. There are so many of you in this room that have helped, that have volunteered, that have come on board as a sponsor. I just want to say thank you. Because of you, you helped our team raise over $100,000 in sponsorships this year, cash sponsorships. That deserves a round of applause. It's the biggest sponsorships we've ever pulled together. That money not only goes back in to make the Forest Festival bigger and better every year, but it also goes to 4 different nonprofit organizations that benefit from the Forest Festival. So thank you so much for continuing to believe in a 40-year-old tradition. We also want you to mark your calendar for Tuesday, October 1st, and join us for our annual elected officials reception sponsored by Encore. This will be at Crown Colony. We hope that you will mark your calendar. You'll start seeing this a lot coming out, and we hope that you'll join us that night. Next, we will do our on-time drawing sponsorship for those that registered on time. We appreciate you doing that. Wasn't lunch great? Let's give Cotton Patch a round of applause. It's delicious. How about, is Lindsay Christian here? Well, thanks for registering, but. How about Maribel Soto? Yeah? Perfect. We have $100 for you. Thank you so much for ServPro of Lufkin, South Nacogdoches County for continuing to be this sponsor of this. We appreciate you. If you don't mind, on your way out, there are trash cans surrounding. If you'll just grab your plate, throw it away for us, that'll help our staff out. We hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you in 13 days at the Forest Festival.